If you are over 60 and experiencing burning feet, numb toes, electric tingling, or an unsteady sense of balance, what you are going through is not a mysterious aspect of aging. It is the expected outcome of a biological environment that has gradually shifted over many years. Most people are told peripheral neuropathy is simply nerves wearing out, as though the nervous system is a machine destined to break down on schedule. Others are told it is genetic, implying nothing can be done. Many are informed, directly or indirectly, that treatment is limited to pain control and accepting progressive decline. What is rarely explained is that nerves do not fail randomly. They respond to chemistry. They respond to blood flow. They respond to the metabolic signals they encounter every day. When those signals become hostile, nerves suffer. When the environment stabilizes, nerves can often retain far more function than expected. Peripheral neuropathy is not one disease. It is a pattern of nerve injury. It describes the malfunction of peripheral nerves, the long cables linking the brain and spinal cord to the rest of the body. These nerves manage sensation, movement, balance, temperature perception, and pain signals. Because they are long and metabolically demanding, they are particularly vulnerable to changes in blood sugar control, circulation, inflammation, and nutrient delivery. This vulnerability explains why symptoms usually start in the feet and hands, the farthest points from the heart and the most dependent on tiny blood vessels. One key concept is that nerve damage accumulates long before symptoms become obvious. For years, even decades, nerves can endure subtle but persistent metabolic stress without clear signs. During this quiet phase, harm builds silently. Proteins in nerve fibers change shape, blood vessels stiffen, myelin insulation thins, electrical signals slow and lose accuracy. The nervous system compensates effectively, hiding early dysfunction. By the time burning, numbness, or instability appears, the process is already advanced. This delay makes neuropathy feel sudden and unjust, though it has been developing gradually for a long time. For many people, the central factor is advanced glycation end products, AGEs. These form when glucose binds irreversibly to proteins and fats. The binding is not benign. It alters tissue structure and function. Once created, AGEs are hard to eliminate and accumulate over time. They particularly harm tissues needing flexibility, precise signaling, and good microcirculation, making peripheral nerves highly susceptible. To grasp why AGEs matter, consider the molecular level. Glucose is vital fuel but chemically reactive. Prolonged elevated blood sugar causes more glucose-protein collisions. Under certain conditions, permanent stiff, sticky complexes form. This resembles caramelization in cooking. In the body, it happens slowly but steadily when glucose regulation is poor, producing less flexible, less functional, inflammation-prone tissue. In peripheral nerves, AGEs attack three key elements simultaneously. First, they modify nerve fibers, disrupting proteins that transmit electrical signals. Second, they damage myelin, the fatty insulation enabling fast impulses. Without healthy myelin, signals weaken, delay, or distort. Third, they injure capillaries supplying oxygen and nutrients. When these vessels stiffen or narrow, nerves become starved and fragile. This three-pronged assault accounts for diverse symptoms: burning pain from overactive fibers, numbness from signal loss, tingling from misfiring, weakness from poor muscle communication, balance issues from faulty sensory input. Symptoms differ in mix, but the core damage pattern is consistent. A common misunderstanding is that fasting blood sugar adequately reflects the process. Many with neuropathy hear their glucose is normal based on fasting values. But fasting shows only the daily low, not the most harmful phase. Age formation peaks after meals, when blood sugar rises and stays high for hours. Repeated post-meal spikes drive nerve injury over time. Aging reduces glucose clearance efficiency. Muscle mass drops, insulin sensitivity falls, glucose lingers longer post-meal. Aging itself does not cause neuropathy. It lowers metabolic resilience. Combined with frequent snacking, late eating, and processed foods, this creates perfect conditions for age buildup. Vitamin B12 is crucial for nerve repair and maintenance. It supports myelin, DNA synthesis in nerve cells, and detoxification of metabolic byproducts. B12 absorption declines with age and is worsened by medications like acid suppressants and metformin. Low B12 removes a major defense. Repairable damage accumulates instead. Standard tests often miss functional B12 deficiency. Levels appear normal, but insufficient for nerve health. This leaves many at risk unknowingly. Deficiency can persist for years before symptoms emerge. Dietary ages are another overlooked contributor. High-heat cooking, grilling, frying, roasting, browning, produces large amounts of preformed ages absorbed into circulation. Even with stable blood sugar, cooking methods alone can accelerate damage. Lower temperature techniques greatly reduce exposure. Once damage starts, inflammation amplifies it. Ages trigger pathways that maintain chronic nerve irritation. Symptoms often worsen at night due to slower circulation and lingering mediators. Neuropathy disrupts sleep, creating a cycle. Poor sleep worsens insulin resistance and glucose spikes, fueling more ages and inflammation, further harming sleep. Movement powerfully interrupts this cycle. Muscles absorb glucose post-meal. Brief walking significantly lowers spikes. This is metabolic regulation, not exercise for fitness. Regular movement cuts age raw material and improves nerve circulation. Muscle strength matters too. Declining mass impairs glucose clearance. Gentle resistance training preserves muscle, enhancing metabolic control and nerve protection. This quiet background effect is often undervalued. Hydration aids circulation and clearance. Dehydration thickens blood, slows capillaries, concentrates glucose. Many older adults reduce fluids unintentionally, increasing nerve risk. Steady hydration supports vessels without major effort. Stress affects neuropathy hormonally. Chronic stress raises cortisol, elevating blood sugar and insulin resistance. Emotional stress magnifies damaging conditions. Simple stress practices ease this pressure and aid stability. The belief that decline is inevitable is one of the most harmful ideas. It discourages effort and breeds resignation. Severely damaged nerves may not fully recover, but many partially damaged ones stabilize and improve when conditions better. People frequently report less pain, steadier balance, better sleep, and improved life quality as damage slows. The aim is preservation, not perfection. Stable blood sugar hours mean less chemical assault. Better sleep nights support repair. Reduced inflammation improves signaling. Positive changes compound over time, as negative ones once did. Peripheral neuropathy is a metabolic condition expressing itself in nerves first. This understanding reframes it from fate to manageable process. Focus moves from symptom relief to environment stabilization. No miracles promised, but reliable control is offered. Control changes everything. Recognizing neuropathy's roots in long-term metabolic strain, not sudden failure, leads to another insight. The nervous system is interconnected. Blood vessels, muscles, hormones, immunity, digestion, all affect nerve resilience. This explains why neuropathy rarely stands alone, often accompanying fatigue, poor sleep, digestive shifts, balance trouble, or mild cognitive fog. Different signs of the same instability. Chronic post-meal hyperglycemia below diabetes levels is frequently overlooked. Many live years in a gray zone with higher, longer spikes, yet acceptable labs. Ages build quietly. No diagnosis creates false security. Neuropathy responds to exposure, not labels. Glucose clearance depends on muscle. Insulin directs absorption into glycogen storage. Less muscle means longer bloodstream exposure and more glycation. This contributes to age-related risk independent of weight. Even lean people lose muscle without resistance work. This explains activity's strong protective effect without diet change. Consistent post-meal walks, lower spike intensity and duration. Over time, fewer ages, less inflammation, better circulation result, subtle short-term, profound long-term, one of few cause-focused interventions. Vascular health is central. Nerves rely on delicate microvessels sensitive to glycation and stress. Ages stiffen walls, reduce nitric oxide, limit dilation, causing low-grade ischemia, worst in distal areas. Feet suffer first due to distance from supply. This explains worsening in cold or at night, reduced flow, and past smoking's lasting risk. Vessel damage compounds metabolic injury. Inflammation permeates all stages. Ages trigger immune cascades, increasing oxidative stress, mitochondrial damage, insulin impairment. Inflammation both results from and drives damage, a loop that can accelerate progression. Sleep is prime repair time. Deep sleep lowers inflammation, improves insulin sensitivity, releases growth factors. Disrupted sleep shrinks repair, worsening control and damage. Modest sleep gains yield large symptom benefits. Late eating harms by raising glucose when sensitivity is low, prolonging hyperglycemia and disrupting repair. Earlier last meals often improve sleep quickly, then neuropathy symptoms gradually. Gut health influences nerves via absorption, immunity, inflammation. Poor digestion impairs B vitamins magnesium uptake and increases systemic inflammation. Gut problems rarely sole cause but worsen vulnerability. Emotional effects matter equally. Chronic pain, uncertainty, fear breed anxiety, depression, disrupting sleep, raising stress hormones, reducing self-care, another real feedback loop. Breaking it needs understanding, support, realistic expectations. Not all neuropathy is metabolic. Autoimmune, infectious, toxic, chemotherapeutic, genetic causes exist. Still, metabolic health affects severity, progression in most cases. Blood sugar stability, inflammation reduction, circulation support, benefit nerves broadly. Changes yield subtle progress, milder pain, better sleep, steadier balance, partial sensation return. Easy to miss if expecting reversal, but meaningful. Damage slowed, surviving fibers more efficient. Track progress over weeks, months. Nerves heal slowly, fluctuations normal. Trends matter more than single days. Advanced cases shift to preservation. Preventing loss greatly enhances independence and quality, even without full recovery. Medical oversight essential. Rapid changes need evaluation. Medications require supervision. These strategies complement care, addressing overlooked mechanisms. Research reframes neuropathy from inevitable aging to modifiable lifestyle metabolic process. Many have more trajectory influence than told. Key conceptual shift. Neuropathy develops in an environment. Environment, change outcome. Meaningfully, not perfectly. Long-term management relies on consistent small behaviors. Nerves respond to averages. Sustained modest gains reshape decline. Aging reduces insulin sensitivity, mitochondrial function, increases inflammation, even in healthy weight people. Gradual drift, not sudden failure. Neuromuscular loss is major. Motor neurons withdraw, compensation limited, movement balance decline, fall risk rises, activity drops, muscle metabolic instability accelerates. Foot care critical. Lost sensation risks unnoticed injury infection. Daily inspection, proper shoes, moisture callus, nail care, prevent complications causing most severe disability. Chronic pain causes central sensitization, amplifying discomfort. Calming central system. Breathing, mindfulness, stretching, reduces intensity despite peripheral damage. Monitor micronutrients. B12 deficiency mimics, worsens neuropathy. Magnesium aids conduction, relaxation. Test-guided supplementation catches reversible factors. Hydration affects viscosity, flow. Mild dehydration worsens ischemia. Regular intake counters reduce thirst in older adults. Social connection protects, reduces stress, improves sleep, motivation. Movement easier socially, adding metabolic benefit. Fear of progression can lead to avoidance, accelerating decline. Education fosters smart caution. Use-based movement safer than disuse. Healthcare often shortchanges chronic care. Prepared questions and self-advocacy improve outcomes. Caregivers need support too. Education on normal fluctuations, linear progress reduces strain. Caring for caregiver benefits, patient. Cumulative small choices, slow decline, reduce complications. Symptoms manageable, life remains full. Neuropathy is a condition, not identity. Individuals have histories, relationships, talents, goals. This view limits shrinkage of life boundaries. Prevention offers the greatest leverage. Subtle stress accumulates years before symptoms. Same mechanisms: post-meal glucose, ages, muscle loss, inflammation, circulation, can be addressed early, 40s, early 60s, preserving function far longer. Redefine normal. Fasting, 95 mdl reassuring, but post-meal 140 mdl drives damage. Fingerstick or CGM reveals hidden patterns, motivating change. Preserve muscle, 3 to 8% loss per decade after 40 without effort. Resistance, 2-3x week plus protein intake builds buffer against spikes, ages. Cooking matters. High heat generates massive ages. Steam, poach, braise, slow cook reduce exposure significantly. Sleep, movement, stress, complete foundation. Earlier meals, post-meal walks, breathing, mindfulness, social ties, lower cortisol, hyperglycemia. Most hopeful, transmission. Model family walks, gentle cooking, strength training, blood sugar curiosity. Early adoption prevents neuropathy in next generations. Prevention is stewardship, not perfection. Early enough, nerves stay functional, silent, reliable, for decades longer. Many people hesitate to start prevention because the changes feel small and the payoff distant. But small is the point. Dramatic overhauls rarely last. Quiet consistency does. Begin with 1 or 2 habits that feel achievable. Perhaps a 10-minute post-meal walk and moving dinner 30 minutes earlier, and let them become automatic before adding more. The nervous system does not reward perfection. It rewards persistence. A single better week every month is far more protective than 3 flawless weeks followed by 6 months of reversion. Common pitfalls to avoid include over-relying on fasting glucose alone. It hides the real story. Assuming, I'm not diabetic, so I'm safe. The gray zone damages nerves too. Or dismissing dietary ages because I don't eat junk food. Steakhouse ribeye and home-roasted vegetables can be high-age culprits. Another trap is waiting for motivation. Motivation follows action more often than it precedes it. Schedule the walk like an appointment. The habit will eventually feel natural. For those already noticing early signs, mild tingling after long standing, slight numbness in toes when walking barefoot, or occasional balance wobble, prevention becomes early intervention. The sooner metabolic stress is reduced, the more recoverable the early changes tend to be. Nerves that are irritated but not yet permanently scarred respond best. Even in the presence of mild symptoms, the same tools apply. Tighter post-meal control, muscle maintenance, lower heat cooking, better sleep hygiene. Many people see tingling fade or balance improve within 3 to 12 months of consistent effort. Tracking is helpful, but should not become obsessive. A simple journal noting energy levels, sleep quality, foot sensation, and any balance confidence can reveal trends without daily micromanagement. Periodic lab checks, HbA1c, fasting insulin, B12, homocysteine, every 6 to 12 months provide objective markers of progress. The deeper mindset shift is from fear of decline to responsibility for the environment. You are not a passive victim of aging or genetics. You are the steward of a complex system that includes nerves as one sensitive indicator. When you improve glucose handling, preserve muscle, reduce unnecessary inflammation, protect sleep, and maintain connection, you are not just managing neuropathy, you are cultivating resilience across the entire body. This stewardship mindset benefits far beyond nerves. It supports cardiovascular health, cognitive clarity, mobility, mood stability, and independence. The investment is modest. The return compounds quietly over decades. In the end, the most important message is hope grounded in biology. Nerves are not programmed to fail with age. They are programmed to survive in a supportive environment. Give them that environment for as long as possible, and they often do exactly that: survive, function, and allow life to continue with far less limitation than feared. The journey does not end with starting a few habits. It evolves into a quiet, lifelong practice of listening to the body's signals and responding thoughtfully. Over months and years, People often notice unexpected side benefits: steadier energy through the day, fewer cravings for quick carbohydrates, easier weight maintenance, clearer thinking in the evenings, and a subtle sense of agency that chronic discomfort had previously eroded. One powerful but underused practice is periodic metabolic resets. Short, intentional periods, a weekend or a full week every few months, where post-meal glucose is monitored more closely. Meals are timed earlier, walks are non-negotiable, and sleep is protected fiercely. These brief intensifications remind the body what stability feels like and often produce noticeable improvements in foot comfort, balance confidence, or sleep depth that reinforce long-term commitment. Family involvement can amplify everything. When a spouse, adult child, or sibling understands the science, even at a basic level, they become natural allies rather than unintentional saboteurs. Shared meals become opportunities to choose lower-age cooking methods. Evening walks become family time. Conversations about how the numbers looked after dinner normalize metabolic awareness without judgment. Children and grandchildren watching these habits modeled early are far more likely to carry them forward, breaking generational patterns before symptoms ever appear. For those who feel overwhelmed by the information, remember, you do not need to master every detail at once. Pick the lever that feels most accessible today. For some, it is the post-meal walk. For others, it is shifting dinner to 6:30 instead of 8:30. For many, it is simply drinking an extra glass of water between meals. One small win creates momentum. Momentum builds belief. Belief sustains consistency. There will be setbacks, holidays, travel, illness, stressful periods when old habits creep back. These are not failures. They are data. Notice what triggered the slip, forgive the detour, and return to the baseline that worked. The nervous system is forgiving when the overall trend moves in the right direction. In the quiet accumulation of better days, something profound happens. The future stops feeling like an inevitable narrowing. It begins to feel like a space that can still expand. More steps without pain, more evenings without restlessness, more moments of steady balance and presence. That expansion is not guaranteed for everyone, but it is possible for far more people than conventional advice suggests. The biology is on your side when the environment is. Nerves want to function. Give them the conditions they evolved to thrive in, and they frequently respond with resilience that surprises both the person living it and those around them. That sense of agency, the realization that small daily choices influence a trajectory once thought fixed, often becomes the most transformative outcome. It is not dramatic reversal, it is the slow replacement of resignation with quiet competence. People describe it in different ways. I feel like I'm driving again instead of just being driven. Or, the condition is still there, but it no longer owns the calendar. These shifts matter as much as any measurable improvement in sensation or balance. Sustaining momentum requires anticipating resistance. The body adapts to new patterns slowly, and the mind even more slowly. Early weeks may bring frustration when foot burning does not vanish overnight, or when a single high-carb meal triggers a flare. This is normal biology, not failure. Nerves repair and stabilize on a timescale of months to years, not days. The most reliable predictor of long-term success is not how quickly symptoms improve, but how quickly the person returns to the baseline routine after a disruption. Plateaus are common and can feel discouraging. After 6-12 months of consistency, progress may slow or seem to stall. This often signals that the low-hanging fruit has been picked, post-meal spikes are now modest, muscle mass is stabilized, sleep is more consistent, and deeper layers of adaptation are underway. During plateaus, subtle refinements help. Tightening the post-meal walk to start within 15 minutes rather than 30. Experimenting with meal order, vegetables and protein before carbohydrates. Or adding a short resistance session with bodyweight squats or wall pushes twice a week. Small tweaks prevent stagnation without overwhelming the routine. Medication interactions deserve attention. Metformin, statins, proton pump inhibitors, and certain antihypertensives can subtly influence B vitamin status, glucose handling, or nerve perfusion. Never stop or change doses independently, but informed discussions with a physician, bringing notes on symptoms, recent post-meal glucose patterns, and lifestyle changes, often lead to adjustments that support rather than hinder nerve health. Some find that lower dose adjustments or alternative medications reduce side effects while preserving benefits. Family and social context can either reinforce or undermine progress. When household members continue late-night snacking in the same kitchen or push high-heat barbecues on weekends, the environment fights against the individual's efforts. Gentle, non-confrontational communication helps. I've been reading about how cooking temperature affects long-term nerve health. Would you be open to trying some braised dishes this week? Or, walking after dinner has really helped my feet. Would you join me even for one loop? When loved ones participate, adherence rises and the emotional load lightens. For those living alone, online support groups or local walking clubs provide similar accountability and reduce isolation. Emotional resilience deserves its own practice. Chronic symptoms erode confidence over time. Fear of falling, embarrassment about slower pace, or dread of progression can quietly shrink activity. Counter this with deliberate exposure. Short, safe walks in familiar settings, balance exercises with a stable chair nearby, or practicing standing on one leg while brushing teeth. Each small success rewires the brain's threat perception. Mindfulness or guided breathing, 4-7-8 pattern. Inhale, 4, hold 7, exhale 8. Before bed, reduces nighttime rumination that amplifies pain perception. Looking further ahead, the cumulative effect often surprises. After 2 to 5 years of consistent stewardship, many report not just symptom stabilization, but genuine expansion. Longer walks without burning, confidence on uneven ground, nights without restlessness, and a return of small joys like gardening barefoot or dancing at a family event. These are not cures. They are restorations of function that had been quietly eroding. For the next generation, the legacy is even more powerful. When adult children see a parent measuring post-meal glucose out of curiosity rather than panic, or choosing steamed fish over grilled steak without complaint, the message lands deeply. Metabolic health is not a punishment for diagnosis. It is a proactive practice available to everyone. Grandchildren who grow up with after-dinner walks as normal family rhythm, who learn early that how food is cooked matters, or who see strength training as routine maintenance rather than crisis response, inherit a different baseline. Their nerves may never face the same decades of unchecked stress.